Next on the list is Silent Night, Deadly Night. I mean, two. There's not a lot I can say except that it's the best. You would have to be a pretty serious horror nerd to truly love it, I think. A little too removed for the modern horror fan. And when I say the modern horror fan, I'm not talking about A24 horror fans. I'm talking about the modern horror fan who can take nothing other than like a ghost story or a paranormal story because that's all anybody's comfortable with anymore. This is not going to hit for that group of people. The film holds your attention the whole time, but it's notorious for one single scene and one single line, and that is Garbage Day.
Garbage Day!
If you know what I'm talking about, then you know how awesome it is. If you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe go see it. Yes, most people are not a fan of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, but I am. Next, I want to talk about The Strangers. So most people didn't even like the first one. The Strangers is a very divisive horror franchise. I think a lot of people are resistant to films that build out a lot of visual action. What I mean by that is The Stranger is the original one, and even the second one. They're built on dialogue, they're built on shadows, they're built on sounds. They're built on lack thereof. They're built on these things that require your attention. So if you're somebody who cannot hold attention in a film unless there's constant action, movies like this tend to be ones you don't like because it requires an ability and concentration that isn't really part of our modern world. So one of the reasons I like the film so much is because I think it did a great job of expanding on the Strangers universe. So instead of what happened with the third one, which for me, the third one does nothing for me. That felt completely devoid. The second one felt like it was trying to make its mark and really show that this is what the Strangers universe is. This is what it could be. And these are the ways that we can expand it. There was some amazing cinematography, shadow, and color in this film that did more work than people probably recognize. I mean, you cannot like the film, but most people who saw it still recognize the pool scene as being infamous. And I think it was. Like when I saw it, it was great the first time, but I didn't really appreciate it until I saw it at least two or three more times. The cinematography and the effort that went into that scene shows people were committed to making a film for the horror fan. And I appreciate that always because nowadays, because horror is so popular, you have people making films for fair weather fans and not those of us who have always been part of the fold. So, The Strangers 2 is a reminder that that's still out there.